Imagine you're standing in front of a giant blank canvas, holding a box of paints and a brush. What will you draw? I will draw sunflowers, and that's because Vincent van Gogh, our main character in today's speech. Vincent van Gogh, one of the most famous painters in history, and one of the most talented oil painters in my heart. He had a tragic life, but he turned his suffering into a passionate beauty. His works, branded with his distinctive personality, historically overturned the aesthetic concept of the time. How many of you are interested in arts? I'm wondering that. But first, in order to get to know Van Gogh, I will start with his main life. Vincent van Gogh has an enormous contribution to oil painting. He was born on 30th March 1853 to an upper-middle-class family in a small town in Holland. One of the most important things that made him notice his love to painting is a heartbreak experience. He proposed to his landlady's daughter, who was secretly engaged. He began to take solace in religion after them. As writer Harman mentioned in her article, Vincent van Gogh, blazing genius, tormented soul. Van Gogh wrote, "To act well in the world, one must sacrifice all personal desires." And then he spent the next 4 years studying and preaching the gospel. But that is not what he wanted. A new salvation came to his life. "I'm often homesick for the land of pictures," he said. He put aside religion and decided to become an artist. The love for art inherited from his family finally began to show. He had advanced from pencil to watercolor to oil in a really short time. But his progress was repeatedly interrupted by his trials of the heart. He fell in love with recent widow, who is Vincent's older cousin, got refused, then a syphilitic, alcoholic prostitute. She returned to street after Vincent told his brother that he wanted to marry she. Then in union, Vincent painted his neighbor and proposed marriage and got declined on her behalf by her family. With all these frustrations went along, Vincent finally began to study painting systematically at age of 27. Opened the prelude to his legendary painting life. And now we move to his legend. As I mentioned before, Vincent is most famous for oil painting. As artist Hampton mentioned in The Art of Oil Painting, any oil painting works need to rely on visual images to reflect certain ideological content. In order to vividly restore the visual image, it is very important that the painter knows how to use composition ability to address close and far scenes in paintings. At the same time, using color to express emotions or restore the color of real objects is also a crucial part of oil painting creation. Those are the things Vincent has mastered with his love to painting. As writer Gardner Clorus mentioned in article Bilinguality and Bimodality, comparing linguistic and visual acculturation in artists' letters and their works, Vincent once said, "For my part, I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream." Through his life, he had only sold one painting, which is The Red Vineyard. At that time, who could have thought that his painting would refresh the auction houses' highest transaction price again and again? Not even himself. My favorite painting is Vase with 12 Sunflowers by Vincent van Gogh. I believe many of you have already seen it in books, magazines, or on the internet. It is no exaggeration to say that this painting inspired me to move from Chinese traditional painting to oil painting. I always thought the sunflowers are only so gorgeous and crazy in his eyes. We are approaching to the end of the speech. Van Gogh has not only made a great contribution to oil painting, but also he offered a lot of things for us to think. I watched him struggle in despair and hope, trying to cut a path through the thorns. With all the frustrations he went through in his life, he kept the brightness in his eyes and kept working on the things he loved. He used all his colorful paintings to open up his soul and show it to us with no reservation. Leave us a guideline to love and express. In the end, I'm going to use a quote from Van Gogh to close this speech. Also a question. What would life be if we don't have courage to attempt anything? Remember, he started working on painting at the age of 27. Thank you.